Hey guys, Jeremiah with Steps Pressure Washing and More. Welcome to the summer slump. Today I want to talk about 5 things that I would recommend anyone in the pressure washing business to do right now while we are slow, while the phone has stopped ringing. This happens every year. It's not just you. We're all going to be going through a bit of a slow period right now. If you are still getting those leads coming in, that's awesome. But for a lot of us, the temps are going to be over 100 degrees every day, and homeowners just aren't going outside like they used to, and they're thinking about ways that they can get away from the heat. They're going to be going out on vacations, and they're going to be doing other things with their money right now because we are about a month away from school starting again, so they're kind of feeling that crunch time, and pressure washing just is no longer the top priority. So let's get into 5 things you can do right now to better your business while you have time to refocus and think about what you're going to be doing next. So number 1, let's talk about is money. Money is the lifeblood of your business, and I would be remiss if I did not talk about this first. So if you had a great spring and you are sitting on a pretty considerable amount of retained earnings, whatever that number might be for you, you can start thinking about next steps. What are we going to be doing for marketing? What are we going to be doing for equipment? What are we going to be doing for, hiring, payroll, staff, anything like that? You have money to plan with. If you do not have retained earnings, or you are in your first year and you spent every dollar you had trying to get new clients, and now that has dried up, you're going to need to do something in your personal finances to make sure that you are not as reliant on money coming in from your business when the business is not there. So first, let's talk about if you have retained earnings from the spring or a substantial amount of liquid cash in your business. So first, let's talk about refocusing your budget and financial strategy overall. If you do not have a budget, right now is a great time to learn about how to make a budget for your business. Then break that budget down into monthly, quarterly, and annual goals. That way you have a roadmap to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. It will also give you a few things if you are going to be breaking down what you have done so far this year, averaging those out, finding out what your expenses actually are, and what your average ticket has been. We are a little over halfway through the year, so you should have a good amount to go off of and find out things like, did your equipment cost go up this year? Is it costing you more for insurance than you thought because the new policy kicked in and you just didn't budget for what it was? You may end up needing to change your pricing structure because you now have enough of this year's numbers to really make that decision with. And we touched a little bit on retained earnings, but if you do not currently have a plan for retained earnings, I highly recommend, and retained earnings is just profit. It's profit that you have not spent. It's something sitting in your bank account or savings account, and you're going to be doing something with it, but you don't know what yet. I would recommend breaking down your retained earnings into separate categories and making a spreadsheet to track everything. Google Sheets is what I use. I go on to Google Sheets and I made a little spreadsheet so that I am able to set aside money out of every month's retained earnings for taxes on top, payroll second, emergency fund third, equipment replacement, and then profit or marketing, which is kind of one of those things that I have a bit more fluid on, is that profit is generally spent on marketing. And when it's time to pay taxes, you already have a specific number in your savings account that you have just set aside for taxes every month. When you have a slow season like we have right now, I'm not worried about how I'm going to pay myself next month because all through the year I have set aside excess into a fund for payroll. So I have enough money to pay myself next month. Even if I don't have any profit, I have money set aside for payroll for slower times. This will also come in handy as I start hiring people, that if we have a dip in revenue, I can still pay my employees out of the retained earnings that are set aside for payroll. Same thing with an emergency fund. I always like having a couple $1,000s just there in place. If I end up breaking something, I may not have to go straight to insurance. And luckily, we haven't had to touch that yet, but having the peace of mind knowing that I have that fund set aside. And same thing with equipment replacement. A lot of people have asked me, why did it take you 4 years to buy an 8-gallon per minute pressure washer? And the simple answer is actually, I just didn't have the money to do it. And that was a big thing for me. Is I funded my emergency fund, made sure that that was there. Then I funded my payroll account, made sure that was there. Then I funded an equipment replacement account, and the biggest thing on that was I had to buy a lot just to get an 8-gallon per minute machine, but we'll get into that on another video. But I also bought everything in cash, or wrote a check for it, or whichever one you would prefer. And that is really one of those things of the debt-free business mindset that a lot of solo entrepreneurs like myself have, is I want to do this all and I want to do it without any debt. So I highly recommend, if you've got a little free time right now and you are struggling with your business finances, take a hard look on how you're handling the money and really focus on what you want your business's finances to look like. Do you want them to be streamlined? Then as the business owner, you are going to need to be the one to streamline this. And honestly, enough about money, but if you do not have the ability to pay yourself or pay your business expenses between now and October, I would even recommend getting a part-time job. And that is something that a lot of people would frown upon, I know, but sometimes you have to set aside your personal ego as being the man who can provide for himself without asking anybody for anything. And when you are a business owner, you have that mindset of, I will do this or I fail. And sometimes you have to admit that you need a job. You need a part-time job. If you're only getting 2 jobs a week right now, you can do that on your days off. Getting a part-time job until the business comes back and until you are able to refund your accounts with money coming in for your business, it is a great idea, in my opinion, to work another job and do this as a side hustle until it's able to be a full-time job again. I know my first and second year, I was not able to even support the business long-term, let alone supporting myself. So I am not ashamed to say that, yes, I had a part-time job and I had the ability to flex up and down with that job, and I was very lucky and grateful to have it. But I would also recommend you to really just take that as a sign of doing whatever it takes to make this business happen, is because it does take time. It's not overnight, and sometimes you have to stop and say, I'm not making any money right now. Let me go make money for me so my business no longer has to struggle to support me. Okay, enough about money. Let's talk about marketing. If money is the lifeblood of your business, then marketing is the blood drive. Without marketing, there is really no sustainable business. Whatever marketing looks like for you, I would recommend that you go back and find out what worked for me this spring, what did not work for me this spring, and really trying to hone in on why, on both of those things. Why did yard signs work for me and Facebook ads not work for me? And that's something that I'm going to be looking into a lot, is did Facebook ads not work for me because I suck at making Facebook ads? Or did Facebook ads not work for me because they just didn't work for me? I do know yard signs work in my area. They continually bring me leads, so I'm continually putting my money into yard signs. And there is a link in the description for where I get my yard signs from as well. But I know that when the business slows, I've got certain levers that I can push to bring that business rolling back in. Even though it's only trickling in right now, it's still coming in. So focusing on your marketing and making a plan, especially for this fall, of what you're going to be doing, what you want to double down on, what you need to just cut out of your marketing strategy altogether, and really what's the next logical step for your business in marketing. And always, I recommend trying something new every season to see if you can find another marketing avenue that works well for you. Because if you've got one type of marketing, you're only going to get leads coming in from one channel. And really successful businesses do not rely on one channel of marketing. They have a vast network of different things that they are doing so that they're able to continuously get leads from everywhere, and that way they are continuing to grow. So I would definitely recommend trying something new. We're currently thinking about doing an EDDM, an every door direct mail campaign, but not 100% sure that that's something that we want to do. We actually just got these sublimination shirts. So this is going to be one form of marketing because it does have all of our services and website, phone number listed on the back. So while I'm out and about, I am a walking billboard. We're also going to be adding a little bit more signage to the rig. That way we are bringing in more eyes to our business while we are out in neighborhoods or driving around getting to jobs. Number 3, this is one that I'm actually very passionate about, and that is adding additional services. And I'm not saying adding a ton of additional services, but adding services that you already know that there is a market for with your client base. During my second year, we really went hard on gutter cleaning, and this is something that we were able to add the whole service on for about $700 because we already had the truck, we already had insurance, we already had extension poles, we had a lot of the things that we needed for the business. We already had the ladder, everything. So all we had to do was start marketing that gutter cleaning to our existing clients. And what we found was we quickly made that $700 back because we had some existing clients that needed that service and had been asking for that service. So we actually started marketing it, and we found that going into the next fall, we did significantly better because we had now another form of marketing, which was our gutter cleaning clients creating leads for our next spring. Or while you're out here doing the gutter cleaning, go ahead and wash the house. I need both done anyway. Might as well do it in one shot. And what this allows you to do is this allows you to increase your average ticket size, and some things just make sense. This year we added window cleaning to our service list, and I think all in total it cost us about $300 to get professional grade window cleaning supplies so that we could add this service on and introduce it to our existing clients. And immediately when we sent out a text blast saying, hey everyone, we're now offering window cleaning starting on June 1st if you need this done. And what we found was we had many of our clients that had been asking us about it were ready to get their windows cleaned right now. They were just waiting on us to make the offer. But what we also found out was just that little bit of, hey, we're doing window cleaning. We also got text messages back saying, hey, can you come clean my gutters? Hey, can you come clean my house? And just staying in front of them was very helpful. But going into this fall, we're now going to be able to do someone's house wash, gutter cleaning, and window cleaning, or window cleaning, gutter cleaning, or pressure washing, window cleaning, whatever it might be, increasing our average ticket size and increasing our average time at one location rather than driving all over the place trying to make our daily minimum revenue goal. So I would definitely advise you to take a look at your equipment and figure out if there is something that your clients have been asking about already, and if it is something that you could easily do with your current equipment. So some people that's going to be lawn care, some people that's going to be window cleaning, gutter cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, trash can cleaning, or anything that is in your wheelhouse. I'm not saying do everything under the sun. We're at 5 years now in our business, and we are up to 3 services. So we do window cleaning, gutter cleaning, and of course our core, which is pressure washing. So I'm not saying do 50 things or a jack of all trades, or even saying add all of this at once. But if you were to be able to look at what you have, your equipment, could you easily add on an extra service that could bring more clients to your business? And that way you have one more client that might have their house washed next spring. Just planning for the future. Number 4, let's evaluate, is it time for a CRM? So last year we kind of lost control of our schedule and our booking process was a little lacking. We added a CRM last July and we went live with it in August. We've had it for about a year now. We use House Call Pro. There is a link in the description for a free 2-week trial if you wanted to try them out. But if you are ready to get a CRM or you feel like your business is right at that cusp where you are about to go a lot bigger than you've ever been, I highly recommend getting a CRM just to keep the entire back office side of your business in one spot. And if you've got everything in one spot, everyone's name, address, schedule, price, phone number, text messages sent to them, photos of their house, everything all in one spot, that can streamline your business to where you're able to focus on growing the business rather than focus as hard on running the back office. I love that my entire operation is through House Call Pro now. So when someone calls me, all I have to do is get their address, get their name, phone number, and I create an account for them right then and there. And from that account, I'm able to go ahead and create an estimate, send them the estimate, have them sign or approve the estimate and send it back to me. That includes all my terms and conditions, everything in one spot. And that allows me to, 1, look a lot more professional when I'm talking to the clients. 2, it allows me to come back to those estimates if they did not approve it over the phone while we were right there. And they say, I've got to talk to my wife, or we're going to think about it, or we're going to get some more prices. I have all my stuff in one spot. I can just come back to on my admin day and call them up and say, hey, we spoke last week. How are you feeling about getting this pressure wash? And would you like to go ahead and get on the schedule? So I highly recommend getting a CRM if you are at a point where you feel you need a bit more control over your back office system. If you're doing 2 to 3 jobs a month, you probably aren't looking to get a CRM because you can remember all of the information you need. And the added expense of a CRM, even though it's not much, can make or break a small business if you're only doing a couple jobs a month or it's more of a side hustle for you. So definitely think about that before you sign up. But I do like House Call Pro because you can cancel anytime. Try it, see if you like it. And it's one of those things where you can get in on the basic level, and then as your business grows, you can go up in the tiers for the different needs of a bigger business. So just saying, if you want to check that out, it's in the description below for a free 2-week trial. And you can have someone show you around the software to see if it's even something you're interested in doing. And number 5, this one is the fun one. This is the one that we all get excited about, and this is upgrading your equipment. So if you have been thinking about doing an upgrade, you have the funding to do the upgrade, I would definitely say that now's a great time to do it, because if your rig has to be down for a few days while you are putting in a new pressure washer or figuring out the plumbing to it, adding a water-fed pole, whatever your upgrade would look like, you're going to need time. You're going to need time to go through the steps on those, learn how to use the new equipment, and honestly, just setting it up takes time. So you don't really want to block out 3 or 4 days out of your spring schedule or your fall schedule. You want to be doing these upgrades when you really have nothing else to do. Now, again, this is where the retained earnings come into play. If you didn't save money to buy new equipment during the spring, I'm definitely not saying buy the new equipment in the summer, because you're going to need every dollar you have to bridge the gap between now and fall. So if you do have the retained earnings and you have the ability and inclination to upgrade your equipment, now is a wonderful time to do it. We actually upgraded our equipment from the 4 gallon per minute to the 8 gallon per minute in early December, and it actually was not great because we were really busy for some reason in early September. We are not normally that busy, but what we ended up with was we were trying to do the upgrade in between doing different jobs, and it was just a lot of headache. And I really wish that I had waited until January. If I had waited until January when everything slowed down a bit, I could have blocked out 3 or 4 days to not do any work and just work on the trailer, but that's neither here nor there. I always recommend doing your equipment upgrades when it is slow enough to not be going out into the field every day, and you can really refocus on your equipment. And those are my 5 things I would recommend doing during your summer downtime, and I hope that you found it somewhat informative or entertaining. And I know that I'm going to be refocusing a lot of different things this year because we have retained earnings from the spring, so we are looking to really refocus on marketing. I think that's going to be our biggest thing this year, is refocusing on marketing and hiring somebody for 1 day a week, which I'm working on that as well. So we're always looking at growing the business and always looking at what is going to come next. A year ago, we were getting into the CRM, and we set that up during the off season because it did take a little bit of time. And by the time we got to fall, I was very familiar with the process of the CRM, and I was already comfortable tracking and scheduling everything and having it all in one place by the time I needed it. And I'm glad I did, because we saw a drastic increase in business from our 4th year going into our 5th year, and it has been absolutely wonderful. And I love that we have a CRM, and we needed the 8-gallon per minute machine. We really did, and that was a big thing that in order to continue to grow, we needed more time in our day. The 8-gallon per minute machine helped us do that. So I hope you guys found this entertaining or informative. And I know that me personally, I am going to be really refocusing on marketing this year, because we already have our CRM in place. We have our additional services in place. We just added window cleaning, so I'm not looking to add anything else. We're going to be focusing on marketing, and we're going to be focusing on growing our staff from 1 person to 2 people sometimes. So this is going to be hopefully a great year for us, and I am hoping that some of this information can pass along to you guys so that you can have a little bit of a better outlook during the slow time. Instead of focusing on, I don't have any money coming in, start focusing on, how do I make the next season better? How do I go from where I am now to where I want to be? I'm going to make a budget, and I'm going to figure that out. And if you need more income so that you're able to do that, there's no shame in going out and getting a part-time job right now. I've done it. Many guys in the industry will do other things during the slow season. I know that there's people up north that they go into doing snow plows or, whatever it might be, just to make it work until your business is able to support you year-round. And I hope that you guys are at that point. And it took me a long time to get to that point, so just know that if you've been watching me for any time, it hasn't always been easy, and sometimes you just got to do what you have to do to make it work so that you can continue doing what you love, and the success of your business being priority number 1. And if you guys are out there working, I just want to say, y'all be safe out there. It is hot, and good luck to you all getting through your summer slump and heading into your fall.